श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः। समापनोत्सव समये सर्वे अत्रत्याः परिश्रमतप्ताः अस्मिन् सम्मेलने ये सन्नद्धाः आसन् सर्वे अधुना तु परिश्रमतप्ताः मुमुक्षवः सन्ति। मुमुक्षवः तादृशानां विस्तारप्रसङ्गादिकम् अतीव लाभाय न भवेत् इति अस्माकं दृढतमो अभिप्रायः। न तु भवतां विषये, ये सर्वे तत्र कर्मकर्तॄणां विषये अहं वदनस्मि। यद्यपि सर्वे भवादृशानां विषये तत्र वर्तते एव, वर्धते च। गृहचिन्तापराणां स्वबन्धून् मित्राणां वा दर्शनकामानां दर्शितुकामाः ये अत्र विलसन्तः सन्ति तादृशानां विषये एवं न उपपद्यते। यद्यपि अस्मिन् व्यासपीठे उपविश्य किञ्चित् मङ्गलाशासनानि तत्र वितरणं कुर्वन्तु इति तैः प्रार्थितं, तदनुसृत्य किञ्चित् उक्त्वा विरमामः। Today we have taken the subject of contribution of Maharashtra to Sanskrit literature. So this deals with the explanation of four major concepts. One is the Sanskrit as a language, and second is the explanation for the different levels of literature, and third, what do you mean by contribution, and fourth, specifically studying about the frontiers of Maharashtra and its application. I think that more than 90 papers, or exactly 90 papers, have been submitted by various conversant authorities, those who have fathomed into unfathomable regions and brought out the quintessential essence of the message of their explorations through various papers. In spite of which, whatever I am going to tell, that will be a total compendium or a compilation of the essence of what they have derived. We cannot say that we are going to say something new which nobody has ever touched or thought of. Whatever that has been dealt, it is not a Simhavalokan Nyaya, in which what are the various things that we have decided, discussed, debated, designed and directed in these previous sessions with various dimensional approach towards the various facets of literary study, consignity and contributive analysis, that we are going to give a proper form and shape for practical implementation instantaneously and efficaciously. That will take just few minutes for us to summarize and put everything into order. First, let us start with literature. Literature, it deals with the phraseology. You know that everything comes from sound. There is an evolution for literature. The acoustics, phonoacoustics, phonetics, philology, then etymology, lexicography, syntax studies, semantics, all of these various sciences, they evolve in their gradual sensation, which results in the fructification of the form of literature. Literature is the culminated form of the beauty of order, the beauty of perfection, the beauty of enhancement of words with their not only beauty of sound but also beauty of their organized system with perfect meanings and precision in conveying the message. This is known as literature. Literature is the most saturated, but totally it is nitya atruptaha. Whatever we do in literature, in analysis, it is never ending. Never can be a person or even the god could be propitiated by attaining a particular demarcative status or finite status of literature. It is a never-ending process, ever-growing, perpetual process. But it reaches a particular area in each and everybody's attempt. For example, in Ramayana, Raghuamsa, it reached a particular attempt of Kalidasa. And whenever the people they used to applaud it, that literary consignity, then Uttarramacharitra, Mahavira Charitra, then Ramacharita whenever each and every person approaches at a dimension, it proves that Jagat Sarvam. Like that, when you see a literature, you just conclude that everything has been dealt by the person, all dimensions are covered. When you see a different literature, then only you realize, oh, these places have been hidden, these dimensions have been very peripherally dealt, these dimensions have been differently approached, and there is a new dimension for us. So, Navo Navo Bhavati Jayamanaha. So, there is no end for this cognitive, intellectual, literary gymnastics and consignity by which we are never-endingly in the journey of pursuit of literary beauty, literary mellifluity and literary perpetual benefit of the fluidity of literature for practice in dharmas, in acharanas, in knowing about the laukika, naitika shiksha, what we call the ethical paraphernalia of the society. So either to pave the way for an ethical society or for a recreative society, or for an enlightened society, the literature, it goes on with the journey. And no doubt, now in a dimension, if you see, it proves that the ancestors were very glorious and we are no glorious, and we are no more in comparison or competition with their compatibility in literary contribution. At one more side, we are seeing number of people. For example, the literatures that have been contributed by personalities before 5 centuries, they were just 1/10 of the new analytical studies that are being done for the past 2 centuries. So, by a capable study, we are realizing one way you are seeing the perishability of literary approach, especially to the language of Sanskrit, which has become obsolete in vocabulary, in vocal dealings and transactions. And one side we are seeing lot of literary developments, lot of analytical studies, and lot of research oriented methodologies are brought in Sanskrit, not only in the India but also in the Western countries and universities. So literature is a perfect system of terminology, phraseology and phonetics on the acoustic consignity, which is never ending. So literature is the consummative saturation, or it is a consummative profile of the signs of words and phrases with a package of determination, demarcation, which is known as niyama, which is regulated by stipulations on the basis of the letters, the numbers and the nature and background of the letters. It is known as stipulation. Unstipulated turbulent language is gadya, and that type of turbulence which is demarcated within the framework of stipulation is known as padya. That which is a medley of both is known as champu. So that which is stipulated, that which is torrential, that which is ambivalent are the 3 types of literatures. Then coming to Sanskrit, already literature I have already told that it must be perfect and precise. Already that we call nigama kalpataror galitam phalam sukhamukad amrita drava samyutam. Already fruit will be sweet. Already fruit is sweet. If the same fruit falls from the kalpavriksha, the all giving elixir tree, then the fruit will be sweeter. Already fruit is sweet. If the same fruit comes from the tree of kalpavriksha, it will be sweeter. If the same fruit is tasted by a sukha, by a parrot, it will be the sweetest. So if Sukha is not just a parrot, but the Sukha, who is the Vyasaputra, it will be sweeter than the sweetest. Pibata Bhagavata Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvibhavuka. Already literature is sweet, and already Sanskrit is sweet. If the Sanskrit sweetness mixes with the literary consignity, that is Sarkara Milita, that is what Parashara Bhattarya in his Rangarajastava, he applauds the greatness of Narasimha. When God took the form of anthropic status and morphic status, he took all forms. Ajayamano Baudha Vijayate. He assumes all forms. When God, he took the form of Nara, it was very enjoyable. He took the forms of animals like Sukara, Matsya and Hamsa, it was enjoyable. When he took an anthropomorphic form of Nara and Simha, it was as enjoyable as milk with sugar. Shakkara militam dugdhaviva, so says Parashara Bhatta. Likewise, nature. Literature is the invention of the pure mind. Literature is the invention of a wide, broad and deep mind. Literature is the output of a person who can communicate with nature, those who can speak with the trees, those who can understand the instincts of non-living beings even, those who can talk with a rock, talk with a mountain, communicate with the clouds, see each and everything as a parcel of sentience, as a parcel of divinity and eternity. Such a person could bring the literary beauty. Already it is there in Greek literature, Sumerian literature, Babylonian literature, Chinese literature, the great French literature, German literature, all the antediluvian, post-diluvian, modern, ultra-modern, medieval, classical, pre-classical, post-classical, all of these era, they consist of innumerable literatures. But already there is a sweetness. If it is mixed with the language of the gods, the language of divinity, the language which is nothing but the structure of the eternal Vedas, which are the root cause of the creation, which is the essential source for the sustainability through the celestial and human intervention, which is the source for sustenance of each and every person's morale, caliber, acumen, sharpness, perspicacity, penance, austerity, patriotism and all the other valuable instincts of human life. So already literature is sweet, it has been more sweetened, and there is a problem of more sweetness. There are 2 problems. If it is more sweet, it will have 2 problems. You cannot consume more because you will get a saturation limit of diminishing nature. You cannot get it. Number two, consuming something more, ati sarvatra vajjayet. Consuming something more is pernicious to you, but it has got such a divine coupling with the sweetness of nature and sweetness of literary insanity that the more you consume, the more you will be enlightened, and there is no saturation limit. Number two, it is not pernicious. The more you take, it is salubrious to your physique, salubrious to your mind, to your intellect, and it makes your body vibrant, it makes your totally potential, it makes your intellect sharp, it makes your mind to be free from the capricious movements of sojourning between senses, and it gives a grip to your mind to be very comfortable with the universe and handle anything in the world. Like this, let us start with Sanskrit literature. Sanskrit consists of three literatures. One is Apaurushaya literature, second is Apta Paurushaya literature, and third is Paurushaya literature. The Apaurushaya literature deals with the Vedic literature. Even though the Vedas are different in status, the grammar, their concordance is different, it starts with the Vedas. So, contribution of Maharashtra to Vedic literature, Vedic Sanskrit literature, contribution of Maharashtra to the secondary literature, that is the Dharma Shastra, Itihasa Puranas, Agamas and other things, and contribution to Sahityas, Kavya, Vyakarana Mimamsa, Tarka Vedanta and other things which are the substantial sublims of the literature. So primary, secondary, tertiary literatures are Aihika, Amushmika literatures. These are all the classification of the literatures. Next we can deal with what is mean by contribution. What do you mean by contribution? Contributions are of hundreds of types. Number one, if somebody imbibes, for example, what is the contribution of Maharashtra? You know that the first contribution in the Shatapatha Brahmana, there is a rishi known as Vidarbha Kaudhinya. He has made Sakshatkara, and by his transcendental vision, he has identified a mantra. That is the first contribution of Maharashtra to Sanskrit literature. And in Aitreya Brahmana, there is the Vaidarbha family. That is the Vaidarbha family. So Maharashtra is nothing but it is known as amalgamation. Amalgamation. At the time of British rule, we have been discussing with Gadgil. At the time of British rule, some provinces, they were big in big provinces will become small towns in the road or in the course of erosion of the crucial timings of the era, that which is washed away by the periodicity. We can see larger things becoming smaller and infinitesimal things will become glorified and magnified over a period of time. It is a rule of nature. Likewise, Vidarbha, the so-called the other portions, they have been trivial, but the Vidarbha that was very dominant both in as well as the material status during the Vedic and post-Vedic period, and whatever the benefits that are coming to the great Vidarbha Desha as an extolation by the Vedic and post-Vedic scriptures, that is attributed only to Maharashtra. And the second thing is Aitreya Brahmana, I have clearly told. And the Chanda and Vararuchi, the primogenitors of the Prakrita school of thought or Prakrita school of grammar, consider this Maharashtri Prakrit as one of the finest attuned Prakrit in the world. When a language descends, it takes a lot of avatars. Just as God has become a shepherd, cowherd. God has become a lion. God has become a Sukra. So it is, while descending, God assumes very forms. Likewise, like the Prameya descends himself with many forms, the Pramana Veda, it is also descending itself in form. The Pramana Tattva descends, the Pramana Bhasha also, it descends, it has avatara. So not only Prameya Avatarana, Pramana Avatarana is there. Pramana Avatarana is there of two types. One is Pramana Vishaya Avatarana, Pramana Bhasha Avatarana. Bhasha Avatarana resulted in Prakrita, Apabhramsa, Pali and Upasthiti. Even in Maharashtra, आप हमको अनुग्रह कीजिए, if you tell it in Hindi, अनुग्रह तो ये तो संस्कृत का शब्द है, and आप को है ये सब हिंदी से ही. So we are fixing the vital words within the grammatical framework of some other language. It is known as upasthiti. So the Bhasha's incarnation is in the form of Upasthiti, Apabhramsa, Pali and Prakrita, and the first descendant, like Rama is the first son of Dasratha, the first daughter of Sanskrit is Prakriti, and that Prakriti is Maharashtri Prakriti. That is the greatness, that is the contribution of Maharashtra. You see, Gujarat also people contributed. Can you find a Gurjara Rishi? A lot of people from Rajasthan, they would have contributed. In Tamil Nadu also a lot of people, they contributed. but they can they systematically quote one type of Prakriti or descendant language, which is the first son or the first prodigal daughter? We cannot produce that. That is the greatness. And moreover, Laukika Vaidikeshu, and in that vritti which is quoted by Patanjala in his Mahabhashya, he quotes Vaidika Laukikeshu. And here the Vrittikara, he is attributed to this Maharashtra Desha, Dakshinatya. At that time the Dakshinatya, the portion was very much affixed with Maharashtra. So the Vartikakara, that is the Vrittikara, who was shown in the vritti, well, exemplification of the vritti, Vaidika Laukeshu, he points out he is the Dakshinatya, and Dakshinatya at that time is associated with Maharashtra. So that proves that there was a contribution in the vritti sampradaya also, Vaidika sampradaya, and also Prakriti Bhasha sampradaya, and also in vritti sampradaya. There is a possibility for that also. Likewise, there are lot of contributions, and Jaina contributions, you know that there was Uttara Purana, Mahapurana, a lot of other Puranas in Jaina architecture of linguistic assembly. It covers lot of things. And even Professor Altekar, he recommended that the great Kavi Rajashekara, also the king, also Kavi Raja and Raja, who is the author of the Kavya Mimamsa, and he is attributed to Maharashtra. He says that he is Maharashtra Bhushana. Taking some manuscripts from the Banaras library, in his detailed preface, he quoted that he is a Maharashtra Bhushana, the jewel of Maharashtra. So likewise, lot of other people, contribution is of three types. Persons who are born in Maharashtra, those who lived in Maharashtra and contributed. Number two, persons who belong to Maharashtra, either the ancient or medieval or modern Maharashtra, those who are migrants, settled somewhere else and contributed to Maharashtra. Number three, those who are from other places, migrated to Maharashtra, settled here and contributed. That must be separately discussed in a session. And what is contribution? Contribution is, first contribution, the best contribution is Sakshatkara. Any person will be doing the best of the contribution when they realize a mantra, number one. And commentary to Vedas, number two. Number three, commentary to rituals and Anushtana, that is also a contribution to Sanskrit literature. And also, how to protect the Shastras and Vedas. Protection means not sealing inside a wardrobe and locking that room and keeping the key in a place. It is not protection. That is misappropriation. Protection of a thing is to protect its surface, its peripheral structure, from being attacked by three major things. One is Apashabda and Patabheta, and second is Prakshipta, and third thing is Ukshepa. So it must be free from confusions or ambiguities in recensions. It must be free from interpolations and omissions. It must be free from any type of speculations. So totally indubitable standard must be maintained by governance. That is the primary protection for a treatise. And number two, protection of a treatise is by Vyakhya. By writing Bhashya, Vritti, Vyakhyana, Anuvyakhana, Tika, Vivarana, Tippani, Anuvada, Prativadakarana, Tarka Samsthapana, Tattva Nirdharana, Grantha Prakashana, all of these things are there. You write a commentary, write an anthology, write elucidation, explain, critically edit it. So all of these things are contributions. Contribution does not mean that it must be original or to do something. Already done thing, already accomplished thing, properly maintained and distributed, that is also a type of contribution. For example, Jnaneshwari is the very greatest contribution. At least it is equal to the contribution of Krishna himself in his Bhagavad Gita. It is not just a eulogy or a flattery. I will just explain. While I was explaining in the Rigvedya Brahmana Sabha, I explained one mantra. Hridayam tat vijaniyat vishwasya ayatanam mahat. Hridayam tat vishwasya ayatanam mahat ayatanam iti bruyate. Here there are two explanations. First is given, Hridayam, this heart, or this Dharakasha, the subtler, that is what in science we used to call it endocosmic reticulum. This is exocosmic reticulum and this is endocosmic reticulum. This Dharakasha is Mahadayatanam. It is a great temple. So there are two meanings. If this is a great temple, these available temples are not great. They are simple temples, just elementary great temples. This is the first meaning. Second meaning is, instead of considering this as Mahat and Amahat or Alpa, considering it as Mahat, Mahattara and Mahattama, there are three explanations. If this Hridaya, the God residing here is Mahadayatana, if it is a great temple, then God residing in other temples, that is Mahattara Ayatana, God residing in the form of sons, it is Mahattama Ayatana. Because of the purpose. What is the purpose of God? The purpose of God, what is the purpose of your shop? When you are opening a shop, you must see that your commodities reach the society. The more you reach the society, you are benefited. Your purpose is to reach the society. God's purpose is Magnan Uddharate Lokan Karunya Shastra Panina Sakshan Narayano Devaha Martamayim Tanu. So this proves that the purpose of God, His existence, His activities, either Jagat Vyapara or Ashita Vyapara, cosmic governance or emancipative governance of God, His existence, His incarnations, Avatarana, as well as delegations, Avatarana, the purpose of these fourfold, that is a quadrilateral act, is nothing but for our upliftment. When God resides in your heart, how many of you know that? How many of you can grasp that God which is in your heart? It is very difficult. It is just like asking a person who is thirsty and about to die to dig a well and drink water. It is impossible. Heart residing God is accessible only to yogi. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. Yogina eva drashtum arhanti. Tad dhira eva parijananti. Dhira eva parijananti. Moodaha avajananti. Anye bhavaha vividishanti iti shrutishu kathitam. So, the purpose of God is multitude and multiple emancipation. That does not happen in this temple. When God constructed temples, when He took the form of Bimba in various temples, thousands of people, they were liberated. So that is Mahatra Ayatana. And even Krishna, he could not convert even the Arjuna, who is the immediate student for Krishna. Whereas people like Ekanatha and Ramanujacharya and Shanti Gyaneshwara, by either direct or indirect representation of the Gita wisdom, they have made the minds of millions of people into transformation and subjection to divine surrender. That's why I told that they are great. At least equivalent to that Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, and in the real sense to be humble, Krishna himself will accept that it is greater than that. This is what we call contribution. And writing Vyakarana Sutra, Nagi Nagi Rakshati to Greens Karane, these things are not contribution. These things are additions. I want to just explain the difference between addition and contribution. If you write 10 books, you are adding to the literary treasury or wealth. Whatever you write, unless it is going to create a transformation. For example, we are talking about this Karpura Manchari and this Kavya Mimamsa. How many of you know that? How many of you know Gyaneshwari, have heard the name and know about the essence of it? So lot of things are there, that which is totally devoid of the divine plan. Those things, they have ephemeral pleasure within the ears and mind and eroded by the course of time. That which is deep rooted in abysmal core of your spirit, that eternally resides, rules and enthroned in the period of eternity, unerasable even by dissolution of the whole world itself. So this is what we have contribution. You can write number of books, you can submit number of papers. These things are additions. These things are contribution to the seminar. The contribution of Maharashtra to the Sanskrit literature, not only Sanskrit literature, to the Vedic literature, to the divine literature, is contribution through the Gaudinya Rishi, who belongs to the Vaidya Sampradaya, and contribution of Gyaneshwari to Gita. Like these people, they are Shila Shashita, Vajra Lepaita, they are uneroded. Let us think their lotus feet and develop that sense of eternity to give real contribution, not one more feather added to the crown by means of our mere additions. Let us develop the skill of Kalpana, imagination, the skill of Tulanatmaka, distinguishability and comparative studies, the skill of understanding the deep perceptibility, parabolative vision. These things are possible only by adhering ourselves to the divine lineage of wisdom, and Maharashtra is abundant with the divine lineage. I think that those three, what we call in our Sampradaya, Vedic Sampradaya, Rig, Yajus and Sama, there are three essential pillars of the divine lineage of Maharashtra in the forms of Eknath, Gyaneshwar and Tukaram. Let us adhere to the divine lineage and develop divinity and glorify Maharashtra, not only in Sanskrit literature, in the global literature and global human civilization itself. Narayana.